guys, I'm here today to do some predictions for the Women's Prize for Fiction, previously known as the Baileys. So, I thought that the long list was being announced on the 22nd of March. No idea why. Turns out, when I was chatting to Simon and Lauren this weekend, it's announced on Thursday. So, I'm having to do this video in a bit of a rush because, you know, thought I had a bit more time. But I wanted to get this video up because I find it really exciting guessing. I did this last year. I was quite horrifically wrong, but it's always fun to have a guess, and I've tried to be more structured with how I've done it this year. So if you don't know, here's some general guidelines. The books are always between the period of the start of April of the year before, so the start of April 2017 until the end of March 2018. So that's the period we're choosing between. The books have to be published by a UK publisher and written originally in English, but they can be from writers of any nationality. They just have to be published within the UK in that time frame. I've heard this year that there's 16 books, so I've been really strict and only allowed myself to choose 16 books. So it's going to be interesting because I'm literally going to be able to do a comparison of my predictions to the actual long list and see how many out of 16 I got right. So I split this into two. I split this into books that I've read and think will make the list, and books that I haven't read but for whatever reason think will make the list. I'm going to link all the books down below, and I'm going to have nice pretty pictures come up around here somewhere because I don't own all these books, so I figured I'll just show you their covers anyway. So I have a trusty notepad here. So the first thing I want to say is, in terms of eligible books, I've read 16 books that are eligible. I've read these, you know, over the last year or so. Some books I would have read prior to their release, some books I would have read after their release. But I've read 16 eligible books. And this is where it gets difficult, right, when you do these prediction videos, because do you decide based on what you want to make the list, so what you enjoyed and think deserves to be there, or do you make the decision based on what you think will make the list, so what the judges are going to choose? It's really difficult to do. The judges are different every year, therefore their tastes are different, so you can never really guess it. But, you know, I might have named some books here that I don't think were amazing, or that I don't think sound amazing, but I think might make the list. But I'll explain that as I go. So, out of 16 books that I read, I only think 4 of them are going to make it. There was quite a few others I could have chosen, but I just decided to limit it to 4. So, we have Elmet by Fiona Mosley. I read it, I really enjoyed it, I think it will be there and I think it deserves to be there, so that's one I'll be really happy to see. Then we have Tin Man by Sarah Winman. I've read it, I really enjoyed it, I think it deserves to be there and I think it should be there. Sing Unburied Sing by Jasmine Ward. Read it and I have a review coming for it probably tomorrow. I really enjoyed the first 2/3 and then I didn't enjoy the end. However, I think a lot of people would really enjoy the end. This won the National Book Award last year in America, and you know, I think Jasmine Ward is phenomenal. I think her writing's phenomenal. Not a fan of the ending, but I think it still deserves to be there. I think it's still a much better book than a lot of other books, even with the ending that I didn't enjoy. So there's those 3. Then we have one other. Now, I don't think this book is that amazing. I enjoyed it, it was a fun book to read. I don't think it deserves to be counted as one of the 16 best books by women published in the UK, but I think it may make the list because I think a lot of other people will think it's a lot more spectacular than I did. And that book is Goodbye Vitamin by Rachel Kong. So yeah, I won't be ecstatic to see it there, I'll be okay with seeing it there, and I think it may make it, so there's that one. So the rest of these, the other 12, I haven't read. Some of them I've put there because I think they sound great, and I think they also sound like the sort of books that would be on the Women's Prize, and some of them I don't particularly want to read, but I think they might still make it. So let's go. So we have Red Clocks by Lenny Zimas. Now I think this sounds amazing. I really want to read it. I'm going to read it either way. I think it also sounds like, I keep wanting to say a Baileys book, I think it also sounds like a book that will make the Women's Prize. This is a book set slightly in the future, and it's to do with women's reproductive rights. It's multiple POV. I own her first book, The Listeners, which also sounds really good, so I think she could be an interesting writer to make the list. There's also Sight by Jenny Greengrass. I haven't read her short story collection, which came out a year or so ago. She won a couple of awards for that, and she's been spoken about quite a lot since. This is a novel told from 3 perspectives as well. I think it's a grandmother, a mother and a daughter, and it's all about you know, carrying a child and being a mother, or being all those female roles. Again, it sounds like a great book to make the list, and she's a writer that's getting a lot of buzz, so I think this has a good shot of being there. Then we have Kintu by Jennifer Nagsubiki. I've probably butchered that, so apologies, I've probably butchered lots of these names. I think this one sounds really, really good. It's not, I've heard lots of people haul it and say they want to read it, but I've not heard many people actually review it. I've seen a couple of people review the American edition, but it's not had much buzz in the UK yet, so it has sort of slipped under the radar here. It didn't come out long ago, I think maybe February. But I think it sounds like a pretty epic book, and I think it could be one that they select, so we'll see. Then we have The Western Wind by Samantha Harvey. This has just come out. I haven't heard anyone talk about it. I've put this on the list because I think it sounds bloody amazing and I want to read it, so I want it to be on the list basically. It sounds like the sort of book that could make it. There's loads of historical fiction I could have put here. Some of you may note some rather big releases and their absence from my selections, so it seems rather bizarre that I haven't named some really big historical fiction, but I'm naming one that no one's really talking about. But I've read some of those really big historical fictions and I think they were fun but not spectacular. This sounds like it could be a real feat, and this author has had a couple of other books out that sound pretty good as well, so I think you know, she could be in a position in her career where she's writing her sort of great novel. So I really like the sound of this, and a lot of historical fiction is set fairly recently. This is an old historical fiction. I think it's set in the 1500s or 1600s. So I'm really excited about it, and you know, the cover's beautiful, so that helps. Then we have The Word for Woman is Wilderness by Abby Andrews. I think this is a debut novel. It sounds quite interesting. It's about a fairly young girl who decides to sort of go travelling and try and be like a female version of Bear Grylls. And I've heard Lauren from Lauren of the Books is reading it at the moment, and she says she's really enjoying it. And I had a brief look at her copy the other day, and it looked quite intriguing the way it was written. So I feel like this could be one of the sort of more left field books that makes the list, and I'd be intrigued to see it be there. I would certainly want to pick it up if it makes it. Then we have Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. Now, to be honest, I don't think I like this one, but I think it has a good chance of making it. So there was a few books that I was considering putting there instead of this one, but in the end I decided to put Pachinko on the list. Loads of people seem to love it. It seems like a book that could be greatly enjoyed by lots of people. The reason I don't think I like it is because I don't know if I like the writing style. I've heard the author do a reading on a podcast I listened to, and I didn't enjoy the reading at all. But I've heard loads of people love it, and it's a sort of chunky one, so I think it could have a good chance of being one of the chunky books they select for the list. Then we have Marlena by Julie Bunting. This came out last year, and I was so excited to get to it and never ended up buying it. And I heard a couple of people talk about it, but then it went quite under the radar and didn't get anywhere near as much buzz as I thought it would. I think it sounds amazing, and I think it could be one of the books that sort of pops up again and everyone suddenly remembers. So yeah, I think it sounds really good. It's about 2 young girls and their friendship, and I think something happens, and then it's them as adults many years later sort of revisiting that event in their minds, which I always love. So yeah, fingers crossed that this one makes it, because I'd really like to read it. Little Fires Everywhere by Celeste Ng. Now, her first book didn't make it to the list, so perhaps this one won't either. I'm not sure. I felt like I wanted to put a couple of big hitters on the list. This is one of them. I just started listening to it on audio. I'm not very far in, enjoying it so far, but I can't really comment because I'm literally like 2 chapters in. But yeah, I think this could be there. I think this could be one of the big hitters. I've chosen quite a few big hitters, to be fair. So yeah, we shall see, but I'm going to put it out there and take a guess the Little Fires Everywhere will be there. Then my next guess is Manhattan Beach by Jennifer Egan. I was going to say A Visit from the Goon Squad, because that's the book of hers that I've read a long time ago. I've always meant to go back and read some of her other books and haven't. This is one I'm not sure I like the sound of it or not. So I wasn't planning on reading it. If it makes the list, I will read it because I'm intrigued enough by her previous book to give it a go. But yeah, this sounds like it could be a book that will make it to the Baileys, to the Women's Prize list. So yeah, I'm not telling you what all these are about because that would take me forever, but do feel free to go and check the links down below and look into them a bit more. Then we have, this is where I have a few that I'm not particularly interested in reading, but I think could make the list, so I haven't really got much to say. So we have Conversations with Friends by Sally Rooney. Don't like the sound of it at all, but I think it could make it. Then we have An American Marriage by Tahari Jones. I've heard lots of people really rave about it, and for whatever reason I haven't really been inclined to pick it up. So it might be one that if it makes the list, then I'll give it a go. Again, big in the US, not really very big here. And I think we can have a few surprises where we have books that haven't really been raved about here, but got a lot more buzz in the US, and I think they could make the list. So there's that one. And then my last one is The Lie of the Land by Amanda Craig. This again has gone under the radar. I think the paperback copy might already be out, maybe. And I haven't really heard many people talk about it. But it sounds quite intriguing. And the reviews from other writers are really, really good. So I think this one could be one of the sort of surprises on the list. So I think that's 16 if I counted correctly. Now, I could be completely wrong, and I think what could happen is that loads of books are on the list that I just haven't heard of, or perhaps more books that I've read that I didn't think deserved to be there will end up being there. Yeah, I'm not sure. There were so many choices, it's always hard to narrow it down, but I've decided to restrict myself and not allow myself to name other books that I could go, oh, this might make it, this might make it, so I give myself more of a shot of getting it right. Those are my 16, they're all linked down below, and let's see come Thursday how many I got right. Do let me know down below which ones you think I'm going to be correct with, and also let me know if you think there's any I've missed that you think will make the list. I'd be really interested to hear all your predictions. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!